Today, the God tier card that is UFC 299 is upon us. Sean O'Malley, Cheeto Vera, Piotr Yan, Gilbert Burns, Jack Della. We talking about Jack Della. MVP. We talking about Kevin Holland. What more do you want? I mean, literally, what more do you want? We talking about no one's hyped up for it, but Caitlin Chukagan is on this card. You know what I'm saying? That's when you're digging deep. You know what I'm talking about? Nevertheless, man, it is going down this Saturday night. And we're going to cover the entire thing on today's episode of Matter of Fact MMA. What's up? What's happening? Let's go. What's up, guys? We right back at it. We right back in it. It's your boy Matt. We about to go in here and cover UFC 299, the God tier level card that we've all been waiting for. Not UFC 300. We talking about UFC 299. So first off, let's kick it off. We're in the main event. We have Sugar Sean O'Malley stepping in the octagon with Cheeto Vera. Man, you know, I don't even really know how to call this. And it's quality. Shout out to one of my followers who brought this up as a point about Sean O'Malley on my last video. Bro, it's hard to call these Sean O'Malley fights. And it's simply hard to call because in a lot of these fights, bro, a lot of them, it doesn't feel like Sean O'Malley should be winning the fights. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Sean O'Malley is a bad fighter. He is a really good fighter. He's an outstanding striker. He's got knockout power. His shots are crisp. He's fast. He has the speed advantage over most of his opponents. He's extremely accurate. But, as it was brought up by one of my followers, he's frail. You know what I'm saying? And his body does catch a lot of injuries, or at least that's how I would word it. But let's just say it a little bit more properly. He gets injured a lot. You know what I'm saying? And when I think about him and Cheeto Vera, you know, Sean O'Malley is not going to have the wrestling or the grappling that Corey Sandhagen had to be able to neutralize Cheeto. You know what I'm saying? So, in a sense, you would think it would be mano-a-mano in the stand-up category between these two fighters. Cheeto doesn't get knocked out, you know. I'm trying to think, I mean, maybe Cheeto's been wobbled, but he doesn't really even get wobbled a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, when you're looking at these two, you're like, how is this even going to play out with these two fighting? And to be honest with you, and I'm a Cheeto Vera fan, bro, I want to pick Cheeto Vera in this fight, but honestly, it's hard to go against the Sean O'Malley train. It just is. It's hard to go against that mofo. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's like, bruh, like, every time that this seems like a fight that Sean O'Malley should lose, he ends up figuring out a way to win the fight. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm probably going to regret this because I should pick Cheeto Vera because I'm a Cheeto fan. But, bro, I don't want to make this pick with my heart. I have a feeling that Sean O'Malley somehow is going to pull this off again. How does he keep doing this? Like, how does he keep beating fighters that he really shouldn't beat, but he ends up finding a way to win the fight? I still don't know how he beat Aljo. I really don't. I don't really know. When I go back to that night when he fought Aljo for the belt, I don't see how that happened. How did that play out that way? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think I'm going to stop fighting it. I'm going to pick Sean O'Malley to go out there and defend his bantamweight championship against Chito Vera. If you're asking how, then I'm going to say by 5-round decision. Because I just can't see Sean O'Malley. Look, I can't see him stopping Chito, right? Chito's just so tough. He's dog tough. You know what I'm talking about? We're not even going to get into the analogies of Chito having that dog in him. It's understood. So it's like, I think I'm going to go along with Sean O'Malley to go out there and get the win via 5-round decision. But I don't really know how he does it, and frankly, I really want to pick Chito because I'm a Chito fan. I'm not as big of an O'Malley fan. But at the same time, bro, O'Malley goes out there and does amazing things. And, you know, I feel bad about this, but I'm gonna go along with Sean O'Malley to go out there and get the win over Chito Vera, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. Because now I'm getting sad because I'm not picking Chito, but because I'm really gonna be in a world of pain and hurt if Chito goes out there and he sleeps Sean. But man, it is hard to pick against Sean O'Malley at this point, bro. I mean, he just, every time you turn around, Sean O'Malley, he's going in there injured and beating Aljo. And Sean O'Malley don't have a lick of wrestling or grappling. And he goes out there and he beats Aljo, bro. So, I'm going along with Sugar Sean O'Malley to go out there and get the win. I can't believe I'm singing that, but that's what I'm going with. In the co-main event, we got Dustin Poirier stepping in the octagon with Benoit Saint Denis. Bro, this right here, this fight is going to be fireworks. This fight right here, this fight is going to be dynamite. Like, this fight is going to be everything that you want it to be and that you need it to be, in my opinion. The only way that this fight doesn't deliver, in my opinion, is within like the first 15 to 30 seconds, somebody gets slept and knocked out. And that would be extremely exciting. We wouldn't get the dogfight that we're expecting, but that would be extremely exciting. And it might pay off on the excitement front, but it wouldn't be the dogfight we're looking for. Outside of that, though, neither one of these guys are boring fighters, and they don't do boring fights. So this is going to be an outstanding fight. And you know, to be honest, bro, even though he just went out there and he took that L against Justin Gaethje, I'm going to go along. And even though Dustin's talking about retirement, I'm going to go along with Diamante. I'm going along with Dustin Poirier. I can't go against him. Look, y'all. I'm already going against Chito, and this is hurting my heart. By the end of this video, I might go back and change my pick, because I don't feel good going against Chito. But nevertheless, man, I'm going to go along with Dustin to go out there and get the win. You know, Benoit Saint Denis is an extremely good fighter. He's a hard-nosed fighter. He's a tough fighter. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like that overall, Dustin Poirier, I believe, is the more skilled fighter. Of course, naturally, he's the more veteran fighter. And he's been in there with a who's who of the absolute top tier in the sport. You know what I'm saying? The top tier. You know that guy that's getting ready to be probably in the co-main event, or at least at the top of the card of UFC 300, Max Bless Holloway? Diamante beat him. And it didn't even look close. Like, it didn't even look close. So what I'm saying is, look, the King of Snow, Conor McGregor, the guy that, you know, doesn't fight anymore, but he travels the world being rich and doing rich guy things and knocking up his wife for like the 10th time. Diamante beat him twice, 2 times in a row. You know what I'm saying? 2 times in a row. Now, I'm not saying he's at the top of his game, but I'm just saying. You know what I'm talking about? Like, he already beat that man. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you can go down the list with Diamante, Michael Chandler. We talking about Eddie Alvarez, I mean, who else do you want to pull out? You know what I'm saying? This is, look. He had some stumbles against Charles Oliveira. He had stumbles against Khabib. But I mean, again, it's Khabib. And Charles Oliveira is a bottle of chaos. So anything could go anyway when you're stepping in the octagon with Charles Oliveira. I feel like Dustin Poirier has had a chance to regroup, recover. He's taken quite a bit of, not a ton, but quite a bit of time off. We haven't seen him in the octagon since his loss to Justin Gaethje. And I feel like Dustin, he can't take many of them, but I think he's strong enough to take the shots at Benoit Saint Denis. Now, he can't take a lot of them, but he could take a few if he should slip up and get caught by Benoit. And I feel that Dustin can go out there and get the win. You know what I'm saying? Just point blank period. We ain't got to get into a lot of the X's and O's of it. I think Dustin's going to go out there and get the win. And if not, I mean, he lost to an extremely tough fighter. And then we know beyond a shadow of a doubt, Benoit Saint Denis is for sure going to be a contender for the championship. We also have Kevin Holland stepping in the octagon with Michael Venom Page, MVP. So, man, on this one, I think I'm going to go along with MVP to get the win. And here's why. I think that Kevin Holland is a more skilled fighter, because of the simple fact, of course, MVP is extremely skilled on the stand-up front, so there's no joke there. But Kevin Holland is a really good jiu-jitsu player. Kevin Holland is really good at scrambles. He's really good at wrestling defense, wrestling takedowns, for the most part. Now, we can see elite wrestlers that he's taking an L to. It wouldn't have mattered what his takedown defense was going to look like. It ain't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But against guys that's not their primary tool, he's definitely going to stuff some takedowns. And we know MVP is not going to shoot. With that being said, the reason why I'm picking MVP is most of the time Kevin Holland goes in these fights and he doesn't utilize his entire toolbox of tools. He goes in there, he doesn't utilize everything that he has. He's not going to do it. He's not going to use his jiu-jitsu. He's not going to use any sort of grappling at all. He's going to try to go mano a mano. He's going to try to stand up with MVP and show that he can stand with him and he's a better striker than MVP. That's what he's going to attempt to show, and I feel like that's where he's going to take the loss. I feel like MVP, if this fight is going to stay standing, MVP is going to get the win one way or the other. He's waited his entire career to be at this point, to be signed to the UFC, to be on the grand stage, to be in front of everyone. He's on this God tier card that is $299, and I feel like he's going to show out. So, if Kevin Holland's going to keep this fight standing, I got MVP all day. However, if Kevin Holland is willing to not keep this fight standing, if his coaches or anybody around him has been able to tell him, Kevin, you got a better chance, bro. If you can somehow get this to the ground, a la Paul Daly style, you can get this fight to the ground, bro. You can beat MVP. But if you're going to try to stand up and prove you're a better striker, I feel like he's going to take that L. But nevertheless, man, it's going to be an outstanding fight in my opinion. I don't see this one being a sleeper at all, and I'm going to go along with MVP to go out there and get the win. Next, we have Gilbert Burns stepping in there with Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della on this card. Man, I'm going along with Jack Della to get the win. And that might be blasphemous to say about Gilbert Burns, but I didn't like the way Gilbert Burns looked in his fight against Belal Muhammad. Now, two total different fighters between Belal and Jack Della. I mean, Bilal's definitely going to go in there and grapple and going to wrestle with you. That's what he's going to do. And, that's just what it is. And when he needs to, he's going to strike. Jack Della's going to try to keep this standing. Hopefully he doesn't keep trying to pull Gilly like he did in that one fight. But nevertheless, man, Not to say that Gilbert Burns is slowing down, not to say that he is towards the end of his career, because I think he's still got plenty left in the tank. But part of me believes that Jack Della is just a little bit more hungry. You know what I'm saying? Part of me believes he's a little bit hungrier than Gilbert Burns. And I feel like both guys are fairly equally matched. I mean, Gilbert Burns, of course, is going to have the advantage in the grappling. But I feel like Jack Della can hold his own and avoid getting submitted if this goes to the ground. I think I'm going to go along with Jack Della to go out here and get the win. I think at this stage in his career, he's just a little bit more hungrier than Gilbert Burns, and he might be able to go out there and get the win. It wouldn't shock me if Gilbert pulls out something, especially some, a rear naked choke of some sort, arm triangle, something along those lines. But nevertheless, man, I'm going to go along with Jack Della to go out there and get the win. Next, we have Petr Yan stepping in the octagon with Song Yadong. Bro, I'm going to go along with Song Yadong on this one. I think Song Yadong is not quite there, but he's approaching his prime. I feel like Song Yadong is to the point now where he's talking trash during his fights. He doesn't seem to have many cares or be worried about many things in his bouts now. And in my opinion, I think Song Yadong is definitely a future title contender. I mean, we already saw him against Corey Sandhagen, and that was a really good fight, and Corey ended up getting the win. But, I mean, if they fought again, I could see Song going out there and beating Corey. And then, Song versus Merab, very, very intriguing, very interesting fight. On this one, I mean, I was a huge Petr Yan fan. Huge fan. In my opinion, I think mentally that first loss that Petr took to Aljo via disqualification, I think mentally that did the man in. And he's never quite looked the same as he did prior to taking that loss to Aljo. I know he came a long way. I know he came back to be, I believe, the interim champion, whatever. But, bro, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going along with Song Yadong to get the win. I'm not saying that Petr Yan has necessarily lost a step. I don't know what's going on with Petr Yan. Just being honest with you. I don't know what's going on with the man. But it ain't the same Petr, is all I'm saying. This ain't the same guy that he was on his come up. So I'm going along with Song Yadong to get the win. Song's got striking, Song's got wrestling, Song's got scrambling. Song is extremely good in the scrambles. And I believe that while Petr is definitely going to want to keep this standing, I believe that if it goes to the ground, Song's going to have his way in the scrambles. I don't think he's going to control Petr Yan the entire time, but I think he's going to have his way in the scrambles, come out on top, be able to hold him down, be able to kind of level out Petr with ground strikes as far as elbows. Song I don't feel like he does a ton of punches, but a lot of elbows, a lot of good transitions, the threaten for the submission. I think all of that will keep Petr right where he needs to be, right there in the center of the mat. And I think Song Yadong's going to go out there and get the win. So I'm going along with Song Yadong in this one. Next, we have Curtis Blades stepping in the octagon with Jailton Almeida. Man, I'm going along with Jailton Almeida to get the win. I know that everyone always disrespects Curtis Blades. Everyone always disrespects him, and doesn't give him his credit. And I've always given him his credit. But I just didn't like the way he looked in his last outing. I did not like the way he looked. And, I think I'm going to lean toward Jailton Almeida to go out there and get the win. We haven't seen a lot of weakness in Almeida. We haven't seen him. We just haven't seen him do anything where I feel like he's going to take a step back. Now, he could definitely have some lay and pray contests where he doesn't finish his opponent and it might go all the way to the 3-round decision. But even with that, I'm going to go along with Almeida to get the win. I'm just not really, I'm not too sure about Curtis Blades anymore. He's definitely a good fighter. He can definitely beat the majority of the tippy top in the heavyweight division. But I think I think he's a little bit more dynamic, maybe, than Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades, outstanding wrestler, outstanding in scrambles, outstanding grappler, can do a little bit on the feet, but he seems to be a little mixed up. I felt like in his last fight, he was trying to keep it standing too much, and he ended up taking that L. And so it's like, if he's going to go out there and just strictly wrestle, then this could be a very interesting contest, and Curtis Blades definitely could get the win. But if he's going to try to stand it all to show he's been working on his striking or anything, then I think Almeida goes out there and gets the job done. So that's who I'm picking to win this fight. Next, we have Caitlin Chukagian stepping in the octagon with Macy Barber. On this fight, I'm going to go along with Macy Barber to get the win. Caitlin Chukagian is definitely a very comparable striker. I wouldn't say she's super good at striking, but she's comparable. But Macy Barber, I think, is way, 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 way more well-rounded. So, I mean, she can keep it standing if she needs to, but she can also wrestle. She can also grapple. She also has submissions, as far as, basic submissions, rear naked chokes, things like that. So, I'm going to go along with Macy Barber to go out there and get the win. Next, we have Mateus Gamrot versus RDA. I'm going along with Mateus Gamrot. RDA is a legend of the sport, former champion, deserves all the flowers and all the accolades. But I feel like Mateus Gamrot, I feel like it's definitely up to him. And after he went out there and beat, Rafael Fiziev, whether or not you want to call that a fluke injury or what, doesn't really matter. I think Mateus Gamrot is definitely on a roll right now. And, he definitely wants to get right there. I mean, he's got enough wins, but he wants to be right there to be able to contend for the championship. So I think he's going to go out there and get the win over Rafael dos Anjos. So I'm going along with Mateus Gamrot. Bro, there are so many good fights on this card. Next, we have Pedro Munoz stepping in there with Kyler Phillips. I got Pedro Munoz. Pedro Munoz is often slept on, but at the end of the day, the man's got grappling, the man's got striking, the man's got devastating leg kicks. He's good in scrambles, he's got submissions. I'm going along with Pedro Munoz to get the win. And, I hate looking at him like he is a gatekeeper in the division because the man is so talented. So I'm not even going to call him that, but shout out to Pedro Munoz. I think he goes out there and beats Kyler Phillips. Ion Cutelaba stepping in the octagon with Felipe Lins. Let's see. I'm not really sure about this one. This one's a hard one to call, to tell you the truth. Who's got the reach advantage between these two guys? Okay. Felipe Lins. I think I'm going to go along with Felipe Lins to go out there and get the win there. Sounds weird. Felipe Lins to get the win. I think he's going to be able to go out there and maybe put a pace on Cutelaba. Although Cutelaba could take him down to the ground and hold him and control him, but I'm going to go along with Felipe Lins to go out there and get the win. He's the bigger man between these two. I think he could go out there and pull it off. So I'm going to go along with him to get the win. Next, we have Michelle Pereira stepping in the octagon with Mikhail Olizekchik. I'm going along with Michelle Pereira to get the win. I think Michelle Pereira is moving the middleweight is the best thing for him. I'm going along with him to get the win. I think him moving to middleweight. I think that kind of that rejuvenates him in a way. We shouldn't have to worry about him getting tired as quickly in his fights, because that weight cut to 170 was killing the man. So I'm going to go along with him to get the win there. Man, there's a lot of good fights on here. CJ Vergara's fighting. In that fight, I'm going along with... Ooh, CJ's fighting a tough guy. Ooh, for that one, I think I'm going to go along with CJ Vergara's opponent. And I do apologize. I don't know how to say the man's name. I'm going to call him Double A, because his first name starts with an A and his last name starts with an A. So I'm going to call him Double A. I'm going to go along with Double A. That's so terrible. I'm going to go along with Double A to get the win over CJ Vergara. Yeah, I think I'm going to go along with him because CJ Vergara is a good fighter, but he's so chaotic that a lot of the times he just, he gets away from his game plan, and then before you know it, he's lost the fight. So I'm going to go along with Double A to get the win there. Yeah, so I mean, that's basically UFC 299. There's a couple other fights. We got Joanne Wood. She's on the card. We got Josh Parisian. I know y'all big Josh Parisian fans out there, but that's pretty much the card, man. That is a god tier card. That's a good card. That is UFC 299. Goes down this Saturday night. Should be an outstanding show. Oh, and if you were wondering what happened with the last weekend's Apex card that I did not bring up, well, there's not a lot to bring up, okay? So let's just leave it at that. Jairzinho Rosenstrike goes out there and gets the win. So there you go. There's not a ton to bring up from that show. It is what it is. It was another dumpster fire trash card at the Apex. So, that's what it is. But Rosenstrike got the win, if you were wondering. Nevertheless, man, it goes down this Saturday night, UFC 299, the major show we've been waiting on. Everyone keeps trying to give the shine to UFC 300, but it's really 299. So, nevertheless, man, it goes down. I'm excited for it. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what picks that you got. Let me know what you think about the main event, though. Do you think Sean O'Malley's going to pull it off, or is Cheeto going to do it? Because I really want to pick Cheeto, but it's hard to pick against Sean O'Malley. He keeps getting the win. So let me know what you think. And once again, I do want to thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I'll check you next time. Peace.